The last 2 weeks have been tumultuous for Donald Trump. Last week, he went on an extended racist rampage against members of the squad and only stopped that temporarily, he'll get back to it, to spend this week, to hear him tell it, exulting in how great the Mueller testimony has been for him. An account of his emotional reaction to that that's been somewhat undercut by sources inside of his administration. So I'm always concerned with how exactly he's approaching politics, what's on his mind. My defense mechanism is to sort of joke about his state of mind, but there are people who take it very seriously, and we're joined now by one of them, forensic psychiatrist, currently working on the faculty of Yale School of Medicine's Law and Psychiatry Division, Dr. Bandy Lee. Welcome back to the Damage Report.
Thank you for having me.
Always glad to have you on. This is an important time for you and your work to get people to take seriously Donald Trump's mental state. Why is it such an important time?
I think we have been seeing a lot of signs of deterioration. As you've noticed, the back and forth about race and essentially expression of his racist bias, but also he's using racism to funnel his attacks, and the increase of attacks and agitation, if you will, is kind of a reflection of his state of mind.
And so do you believe that his state of mind, you're saying there that it's reacting to something, is that grounded in concerns over this week's political developments, or do you think that it might be part of a sort of ongoing process that's been developing?
Well, that's right. The Robert Mueller's report and his testimony have been a large part of this. We can know from the president's own statements about them, but also the timing of them. No matter how much he says, they do not matter that much to him. We discover that he's been tweeting more as the testimony is moving forward, and he pretty much lays bare his state of mind and kind of has the viewer or the recipient of his attacks, if you will, have a small dose of what he's feeling inside.
So there are a few things that have been happening over the past 2 weeks that I just want to see if you think that my read might be a little bit accurate. That if he is under stress, if he is feeling anxious about what's developing, the fact that we had the send them back chant and the doubling down and the conversation around that. You had the accusations of treason against the people who'd investigated him this week, and a seemingly unrelated bit of news, which was the restarting of the federal death penalty. All of this might be unconnected, but it feels to me like, I don't know, like lashing out to some extent. Does that make any sense?
It makes total sense. I think it's important to look at the patterns and look at the results rather than looking at things piecemeal. In fact, we understand a lot more if we look at the overall picture and look at the means by which he copes with stress and difficulty. He tends to attack, he becomes cruel, he incites violence, and this is exactly why we have been calling him a dangerous president. That Mr. Trump in the office of the presidency is a very dangerous situation, and it will only escalate.
And I should mention that you're the author of The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump, 27 psychiatrists and mental health experts assess a president. You recently, I believe like 3 days ago, you presented a mental health analysis of the Mueller report with recommendations. I know we can't cover everything, but what are some of the recommendations that you made?
So actually, when the redacted Mueller report came out, we did a mental health analysis. In other words, an evaluation of the president's mental capacity. We were able to do that because of the wealth and quality of the information, the relevance of the information that was in the Mueller report. It's exactly the kind of thing we would look for. In other words, the reports of close associates of the president who have worked with him, both allies and opponents, have given direct reports of how he has been functioning at his work, under sworn testimony. So it was the best kind of information we could have for a functional exam, which does not necessarily require a personal examination, but it examines mental capacity, which is the basic mental ability to make sound, rational, reality-based decisions. And we were quite alarmed by the fact that he failed every criterion. These are standardized exams that we do all the time. We didn't alter the procedure for the president. And in fact, the results were so much worse than we expected that we recommended immediate removal of access to nuclear weapons and war-making powers. These were just the two most important recommendations. We have many more.
And so I certainly advise our viewers to go look at the rest of those recommendations. That was a horrifying note to end the interview on, the access to nuclear weapons. But as always, Dr. Bandy Lee, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, the report is on dangerouscase.org, and it also includes some questions that we had for Mr. Mueller for his testimony.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.